extra innings and walk-offs, but hey, any win is a win. The Pirates now with an opportunity to sweep the Chicago Cubs to start the season. They will certainly attempt to do that today. It's day baseball at PNC Park as the Buccos look to sweep the Chicago Cubs, and that's next.
Smiling Tony Sanchez came off the bench, and his pinch hit base hit in the bottom of the 16th gave Stolmy Pimentel his first major league victory, and the Pirates now 2-0 after another one-run extra innings victory over the Cubs. Right back at it at PNC Park this afternoon as the Buccos go for a 3-game sweep over Chicago. Hi again, everyone. Along with Bob Walk, I'm Tim Neverett. Quick turnaround for the players. How does it affect them today?
Well, it really is going to be one of those games they got to mentally, fight through it a little bit. It's not easy to play that long game last night and then come out first thing in the morning, but it's going to be the same for both clubs. Just stay mentally tough and go get them.
Some interesting notes coming out of that 16-inning marathon last night. The longest time of game in PNC Park history and in the city of Pittsburgh. 5 hours, 55 minutes. Back-to-back walk-off wins to start the season for the first time in 100 years. And Neil Walker and Tony Sanchez, each with their first career walk-off hits. Can the Pirates do it in regulation? Well, they hope they don't have to tax the bullpen today like they did last night. Bullpen not in bad shape. Clint Hurdle saying earlier this morning that Edinson Volquez will be available out of the bullpen if needed. But when you look at what the bullpen did, gave up a couple of runs last night, but other than that, pretty solid work.
Yeah, they should be fine today as long as they get a decent start out of Wandy. Goes 5 or 6 innings. Won't be any problem. Gomez, Pimentel, they'll be the only two guys that probably won't be used. Everybody else should be pretty sharp.
Charlie Morton, a pretty good start, 6 innings and 6 strikeouts. So the Pirates back at it again today against the Cubs. Right-hander Jason Hamill will take on Wandy Rodriguez as the Bucs continue to feed their wild side. Can they get it done in regulation today? Find out next. First pitch around the corner.
is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Let's go Bucs!
Tony Sanchez taking us out to home plate as he gets the start behind the plate tonight. Russell Martin catching all 16 innings. So Tony will have the honors of being the back half of the battery today after his walk-off winner last night in the bottom of the 16th. The Cubs line up this way this afternoon. Emilio Bonifacio is red hot. He is 9 for 12 to start the season, a career-high 5 hits last night. Then Castro moves up to the 2 spot. Justin Rucciano, third, playing right field. Rizzo, Lake, Olt, Varney, Baker, and Hamill, the rest of the Cubs lineup. Facing Wandy Rodriguez, who had just 12 starts last year, but looked pretty good coming out of spring training.
Yeah, the thing about spring training is not so much about stats, and especially with a veteran guy like Wandy. It's health and how's he throwing the ball. And he looked just fine health-wise, and I like the command he had of all of his pitches. You know, he's not a stuff guy, so you're never going to be wowed by his fastball or anything like that. But as long as he is throwing what he has where he wants, that guy knows how to pitch.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Wandy this afternoon. In the outfield, left to right, Starling Marte, Andrew McCutchen, and Travis Snyder. Same outfield for the first 3 games. Same infield for the first 3 games. Alvarez, Mercer, Walker, and Ishikawa, with Sanchez getting his first start of 2014. Starling Marte came up with a big hit in the 12th inning that tied the game at 3. And Marte also a big hit later, getting Jose Tama to third base, and Sanchez would eventually drive him in with a game winner in the 16th. Travis Ishikawa, left-handed batter, facing a right-hander again today. Third straight start for Ishikawa, who was a non-roster invite to spring training. Tony excited. I asked Tony today, prior to the lineups being posted, I said, you must be in there today. He goes, yep. I said, I'm very well prepared. I had plenty of time to watch last night and observe. We had 5 hours and 54 minutes to do that. Emilio Bonifacio, switch hitter, batting right-handed, takes high for ball 1, and we are underway in game number 3. There's a strike call. James Hoy, the strike call. Bonifacio last season at 243. But most of that was in the second half of the season when he hit in the 280s. Struggled in the first half. The Kansas City Royals released him in February. Cubs signed him to a minor league deal, and here he is as their opening day starter. And he's played multiple positions already. Has 9 hits over his first 2 games.
He hit the way he has the first 2 games. They'll find a position for him on a regular basis in one spot or another.
That's the most by any Cub player to start his Cubs career since at least 1921, according to Chicago. Barrel Automotive League leaders stat. Still very early, but Bonifacio, along with Paul Goldschmidt, lead in hits with 9. But remember, Goldschmidt's got a number of more games. He had already had 2 under his belt in Australia before the rest of the regular season started. 5 games for him. And how about Bonifacio? Another base hit. That is his 10th hit. He is now the league leader.
You know, he's had a couple bloopers fall in. You know, there's some balls, and a little bit of a lucky hit, but a number of them have been like this, just line drives. Well, hanging curveball around the letters.
Well, the Pirates have actually had more success getting Bonifacio out, picking him off of first base, than they have at the plate. Starlin Castro yet to have a hit this year. Castro, tough night last night at the plate. And he takes high and away for ball 1. Since 2011, Castro has the most hits among any shortstop. 553 of those. One-0 pitch. In the air to left field, and chasing after it toward the notch is Marte. Marte with the catch. Bonifacio back to first, 1 out. Castro gave it a ride, but the ballpark held it.
It's not spring training anymore. How far is this one out of just about wherever you're playing, Florida or Arizona? The way the ball carries, but not PNC Park and certainly not early April. And what wind there is blowing down the Allegheny, which is even holding that ball up further.
Bonifacio safe at first base. A little bit of a breeze, huh? Going against the baseball. Justin Ruggiano will wait as Wandy throws over to first base to keep Bonifacio close. Just a hit tally on Bonifacio compared to the Pirates team. Pirates are 2-0. They have 14 hits on the season. Bonifacio has 10 himself. And the Cubs are 0-2.
We're not talking 18 innings either.
No. This one is fouled away. Strike to Ruggiano.
Something that the Pirates certainly are looking forward to changing this afternoon is that hit total. Got to get those bats going.
No balls, 1 strike. Popped up. Ishikawa called off by Walker. Foul ground, 2 down. Anthony Rizzo thought he might have sent the Cubs to a victory last night, taking Junmar Gomez deep for his first home run of the year. The Bucs would tie it in the bottom of the 12th inning. That was the first hit of the year for Rizzo and his first home run. 2 down, Bonifacio at first base, and he takes off. Sanchez throw down to second. Delayed steal successful for Bonifacio, his second stolen base of the year.
A great jump. It wasn't the greatest throw down to second base, but it really didn't make much difference. That throw could have hit the bag. He was still going to be safe.
That's a tough throw.
Oh, there's why the throw was so poor. You know, I was watching the Bonifacio's jump. It really wasn't a great jump. Just kind of
delayed. Just took off.
He put on some pretty good speed or something, because he beat the throw by a good amount.
So that is actually Bonifacio's 4th successful steal already. Strike to Rizzo, 2-1. Pirates and Cubs played 6 times in the first 9 games of the year. After this weekend series with the Cardinals, Pirates head to Chicago for 3 at Wrigley. First road trip of the year. Rizzo ground ball through the shift. That's into left field. Bonifacio is going to score, and the Cubs take a 1-0 lead. Second RBI for Rizzo in the season. That time the shift did not work for the Pirates.
If there's nobody at second base, then you have your either your shortstop or your third baseman is going to be in that spot. But because there's a runner at second, then that means Alvarez has to stay home, and there's nobody to make that play. Even with a shift, with nobody at second, there's somebody standing there.
Wandy now will face Junior Lake, the left fielder. Swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Lake. Lake came off the bench last night, had a couple of hits, including a double.
Had a nice play in the infield.
He did. He had to come in as part of a 5-man infield and was placed at third base. And Clint Barmas hit one down to him, turned into a double play as they retired what would have been the winning run. Pedro Alvarez at the plate on a force out. Foul off. You scored that double play, Bob. I know how you like scoring plays that look odd, but it was 7-2-3. And it's the first time since that anybody can find since 1974 there was a 7-2-3 double play. 2 strikes on Lake. Rizzo able to get back.
Could have been a 2-5-3.
A 2-5-3.
Yeah.
How do you figure?
Replay. 7-3, 253, same thing.
A little bit too close for Rizzo's liking in terms of getting back feet first. 0-2. We'll wait again, and Wandy goes over to first, keeping Rizzo close. Rizzo, the RBI base hit, scoring Bonifacio. 1-0 Cub lead, top of the first. That one's upstairs. Last season, Wandy allowed 7 earned runs in 12 starts last year in the first inning. 1-2. And a Lake. 1 hopper to Mercer. Short way to Walker. We'll get the force out of Rizzo. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. The end of a half inning. Game 3. It's the Cubs 1. Pirates coming to bat. Wardrobe malfunction for the Chicago Cubs. Junior Lake is wearing the wrong uniform. That's where it says Chicago on the front, no piping. Jason Hamill, the pitcher, and the rest of his teammates wearing the uniform with the piping that says Cubs on the front.
Number's too big also.
Well, Starling Marte getting set to lead off for the Pirates. Marte will be followed in the order by Travis Snyder. Andrew McCutchen bats third. Alvarez cleanup. Neil Walker fifth. Ishikawa in the 6th spot. Tony Sanchez, first career walk-off hit last night. Jordy Mercer batting 8th, with Wandy hitting 9th. Against the right-hander Jason Hamill, who now makes his Cub debut, and he does have the right uniform on.
Yep, he's got Cubs on his chest.
Good catch by our guys. And a strike call to Marte. Last time I can remember somebody wearing a different uniform was when Ronnie Cedeno was with the Pirates.
They made him change it.
And he wore the Spanish Piratas.
I wonder if they'll
on his jersey.
I wonder if they'll make Lake change his.
I don't know if anybody's noticed yet.
They will now.
1 ball and 1 strike to Marte. Hamill's pitch. And this one is roped to left, right at the wrong uniform man. Junior Lake makes the catch. Well, defensively for the Cubs, we saw Lake make the play in left field. Emilio Bonifacio back out in center field. Ruggiano in right. Mike Oltz starts at third. Castro and Barney in the middle. Rizzo at first. And John Baker makes his first start this season behind the plate. Mike Olt, his second start. Olt, former Ranger, really did a good job in spring training and made the club out of spring training. Hamill signed a one-year deal with the Cubs for $6 million this offseason, facing Travis Snyder. And Snyder swinging a miss, 1-1. Snyder had a hit last night. Travis starting his third straight game. Still a glut of right-handed pitchers due to face the Pirates in the near future, including Shelby Miller tomorrow night with the Cardinals. The Cardinals will run 3 straight right-handers at the Pirates.
Anytime we're playing in our own division, it's going to be like that. There's just not that many lefties that you're going to face. It makes it tough on the right-hand hitters of the platoons.
Garrett Cole will make his debut this season against Shelby Miller tomorrow night. It'll be Miller, Kelly, and Wainwright, all 3 right-handers, and then back to the Cubs and more right-handers in Chicago.
It makes it tough for a guy like Gabby Sanchez to get any kind of rhythm going and get hot, because you're just not getting very many back-to-back at bats. Something we talked about last year. Remember how hot he was coming out of spring training, and then the next couple of months the at bats just weren't there, and batting average went down.
Base hit for Snyder. He goes the opposite way. And the Pirates a man aboard with 1 out. Second hit of the season for Travis.
Pretty good job hitting the hook and not getting out in front of it. Stayed back nice. I like watching that one on the video.
Eyes right on the barrel of the bat. Look great. Here's McCutchen. Kutch had a big opportunity in the game last night. Late. The base is full in the 12th inning. And on a full count, Jose Veras threw him a curveball, surprising everybody, and Kutch swung and missed, struck out. Tip of cap to Veras for making a good pitch. Kutch did not have a hit last night. He struck out twice. Did reach base 3 times via a walk. Two 2-0 to McCutchen. McCutchen was very hot in Florida and hasn't had that hot start to the season just yet. Go to first, Snyder back.
He still has a .455 on base percentage in the first 2 games. He at least is getting out there, getting on base.
Hamels 2-0 pitch coming. That's 3-0. Do you suspect Andrew's going to see as many, if not more, deep counts this year? Pitchers trying to pitch him off the plate, maybe stay away from him a little more now that he's got that MVP status.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think as a pitcher you really pay attention to post-game awards. He's the same hitter as he was last year. He'll be pitched the same way he's been pitched. I mean, he's been good for a while.
Pedro Alvarez. That's an opportunity next.
That's the guy that has the effect on how this guy hitting behind you almost as much as anything. It affects what kind of pitches you're going to see.
Andrew hits one to right center field. Heading back after Ruggiano. He will make the catch for the second out. That's the area of the field Andrew McCutchen likes to go deep in, but this one's just not deep enough.
I watched it for a second, wasn't sure. And you could see that a little bit of a grimace. He knew that it was just going to be a routine fly. So that's again, that's one of the reasons, and we talked about it so much during spring training. And that ball's in the tiki hut down at McKechnie Field. It's just, and that's why those stats get so out of whack, and you can't really put a whole lot into it. It's always about how guys are swinging the bat, not what the results are.
Pedro Alvarez awaits the pitch. And he will take a strike. Pedro led the National League in daytime home runs last year. He had 14 of his 36 home runs during day games. Two outs, one on, and one strike. It's 2 strikes. Fourteen homers, 211 during day games. 22 homers at night, 65 runs batted in. Snyder off of first. Jason Hamill set at the belt. Pitch up high for a ball.
And the Cubs have the shift on right now with Alvarez, and because there is no runner at second, they're playing without a third baseman. So if Pedro was to hit the same ball Rizzo hit, it'd just be an out. That's the difference, the advantage of not having a guy at second base.
Travis Snyder with a 1-out single. Pirates down 1-0, bottom of the first. Two ball, 2 strike pitch coming to Pedro. Count is full. The Pirates will get the base runner going.
They've taken a couple of shots at going upstairs with fastballs, hoping to get a chase on them.
Snyder will take off here. And we'll taking a peek. And Pedro hits this one well. Right center field. Ruggiano back. This ball is caught. Bonifacio up against the wall. That guy is everywhere. And Pedro with a long out. Pirates get a hit and strand a man. But Alvarez gave this one a ride, and Emilio Bonifacio right there to make the play for Chicago. ever. Robbie Inzmakowski in the stadium as well. Pedro Alvarez with a very long out to deep right center field to win the inning. Now Mike Olt facing Wandy Rodriguez to start the Cubs second. He's a well-dressed young man. Strike call. It's 0-2. Just a 135 career hitter. Got a piece of the off-speed pitch. Well, we showed you Junior Lake had the wrong uniform on, the wrong road uniform. Apparently he got the word and has to go down the tunnel up to the clubhouse and get the right jersey on. Well, I looked up on the board where they write which uniform they're wearing today, and it said gray. Probably.
Well, you know, they're pretty similar. I mean, see how you'd make an honest mistake.
Usually teams with multiple uniforms,
different colors.
Pretty much everybody now. They'll write on a grease board in the clubhouse what uniform it is that they're wearing today.
It'd be kind of hard for the Pirates to make a mistake. Big difference between the black top and a white or a gray top.
3-2 hit toward the right field corner. It is drifting, and this ball is gone. A home run for Olds. That ball just kept on carrying and carrying and carrying, and it turned into a front row souvenir.
Probably the one place in this ballpark that you can get a kind of a cheap home run. And although no home runs really cheap, it's only 320 down the line. You just have to hit it high when you go down the right field side, because you got to get it over the 21-foot Clemente wall. And this ball definitely high, and just barely crawled over into the front row, just as you said, Tim. It wasn't hit that hard.
First major league home run for Olds, and quickly Darwin Barney creates an out right behind him. 2-0 Cubs in front because of this wall climber.
It's right there in the front seat.
So Olt with his first one of the big leagues. It's funny, both McCutchen and Alvarez look like they hit balls exceptionally well. And also Castro for the Cubs really crushed one to the north side notch about 400 feet away from the plate, but Marte was there to catch it, and then Olt hits a fly ball that looked like Snyder could play it, and then as soon as Travis looked up, you thought there was some trouble, and it went over the railing.
All about where you hit him. You hit one 400 feet that direction, it might be out on the Riverwalk. At least be up in maybe the top row.
John Baker with 2 strikes. Anthony Rizzo, Olt, now the only 2 Cubs on the year with home runs. Bouncer towards second, but Mercer will be there to field it. 2 men out. That'll bring up the pitcher, Jason Hamill.
There's an example of a shifting over that worked. Take a hit away.
Wandy facing his opposite number now. Hamill facing the Pirates for the first time since the 2011 season when he was a member of the Colorado Rockies. Foul back. He has made 3 starts prior to today against the Buccos. Junior Lake with a new top on to match all the rest of his teammates. Hamill has been in a lot of games where he hasn't had to hit. The American League with Tampa Bay and with Baltimore.
The umpires need to have alternate uniform tops.
They do. Why?
Everybody else has them. Why not?
Bob Davidson, who was behind the plate last night, he's at third today.
Back in the days when you had National League umpires and American League umpires, you kind of had two different looks, two different uniforms. But now it's Major League umpires and go back and forth. There's no distinction anymore. The leagues basically are all the same. It's just major leagues. So the umpires, they have conformed. Remember a time where they wore burgundy colored jackets in the American League.
Yeah,
remember that?
Yeah.
Umpires?
Yep. Yeah, they were pretty well dressed up then. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases empty. 1 run in on the solo home run by Mike Olt. And Hamill got a piece of it, knocked it back.
Trying to battle a little bit up there. Wandy pitch number 40, 2 innings.
Hamill working
still not over.
More pitches out of Wandy's left arm. Pirates really could use Wandy to go deep in the game today. 22 of his 40 pitches have come here in the second.
Yeah, you'd like to get rid of the pitcher as quickly and efficiently as you can.
You got him there.
Had to work though.
First strikeout for Wandy Rodriguez. Neil Walker will lead off for the Pirates, the opening day hero. Comes the return of Inside Pirates Baseball in the season premiere. Mark Melancon visits South Africa while serving as an MLB ambassador. The guys mic up for workouts in Bradenton and much more. It's Inside Pirates Baseball presented by Allegheny Health Network. Tomorrow after postgame on Root Sports. 2-0 Cubs. Bottom of the second. Mike Olt, first big league home run. And there's the cheetah. We asked some folks to take the cheetah out of the Mark Melancon picture and Photoshop it in certain places, and this was during the wild card game. That might be the reason Johnny Cueto dropped the ball. There's a cheetah there. Parrott doesn't look too afraid.
I like that one a lot.
Matt Holliday, the cheetah, out with the left field loonies. So if you have an idea of a fun way to Photoshop the cheetah into a Pirates photo, hashtag Bucks Booth.
I'd like to see the cheetah peeking over the wall out of the ivy at Kutch. I think that'd be a nice one.
And there's the original photo with Mark and the cheetah in South Africa. I think the cheetah needs a name too. So
yes,
we'll take some name suggestions. Hashtag Bucks Booth for the cheetah. And then we'll present them to Mark and let Mark
name the cheetah.
Name the cheetah. Yeah. I'd like to see the cheetah up on the rotunda, maybe holding a Jolly Roger flag. Yeah, in his teeth and a broom. Well, he can borrow them from that guy. And Walker hits this one in the air to right center. Right there, Bonifacio. Seems to be a dead zone right there. Balls are struck well, but
not well enough.
One out for the Pirates in the second.
A little deeper out there. It's probably about 385 by the ketchup bottle. Gonna hit a little bit. If you can pull the ball, as we said before, it's only 320, and it doesn't get deep all that quick. You get it down the right field line, not nearly as tough.
Ishikawa. Strike one to Travis. Early season average 333. He's 2 for 6. Ball and 1 strike. I thought I saw a picture of you and Greg with a cheetah.
No, we had no cheetahs. That's not true.
Little number back to the mound. And 2 out quickly for the Pirates in the second. Oh, Bob, I see. I thought I saw you guys with the cheetah.
I forgot we were out by the big tree doing the open.
Out on the Serengeti Plain, is that where you were?
That's where we were. Had the big tree behind us. Couldn't tell there's giraffes way back there.
Really?
They were out of the shot.
I don't believe you. Not at all. Tony Sanchez waited 5 hours and 54 minutes to get a hit last night. It was the game winner on the 16th. Tony made the opening day roster for the first time due to the fact that backup Chris Stewart had to have knee surgery. Stewart looks like he's on the fast track to recovery. 2-1 to Tony. Here comes the 2-1. 2-2. Talked to Mark about his trip to South Africa and visited with him down in Florida. He loves doing that in the offseason. All those adventure things, and he's been in a shark cage and been in the water with great whites. He loves all that stuff. Full count to Sanchez. Two outs, bases empty, 2-0 Cubs. Bottom of the second inning. Payoff pitch. This one in the air to right field. Luciano settles under it. Pirates gone in order in the second inning. Top of the third at PNC Park. When we come back, Cubs up by 2 runs.
I'm Robbie. It's Mikowski. Tony Sanchez was the hero last night with the walk-off hit in the 16th inning, the longest game ever played in Pittsburgh history. But Tony Sanchez also has a unique distinction. He played in the longest ever college game ever played. It was back in May 30th, 2009, when he was playing for BC. He played, get this, Tim, a 25-inning game in the regional tournament when he was at Boston College at Texas. They ended up losing the game and getting walked off, and some of the memories he has, he remembers the stadium being divided by the end of like the 15th, 16th inning, where they'd have to Texas fans cheering for BC and the other half cheering for Texas.
Bonifacio's got another hit, and he's in with a double.
And again, this was not a cheap one. I said earlier, there's been a couple of those, but most of them he has centered up pretty well, hit him on a line. This one he drives out for extra bases. A high fastball.
Julio Bonifacio 2 for 2. 11 hits on the season so far. He's 11 out of 14. Castro takes inside for a ball. Castro 0 for 1. Castro's 0 for the season so far. Fourth hit for the Cubs from Bonifacio. He's got half of them. Ishikawa chases that one, but it's up in the seats. Let's try to win this in 9 innings today. I don't know if my heart can take 3 straight days of extras. That's a good point. You can tweet us here in the booth. Hashtag BucksBooth.
I don't know if there's going to be enough dry weather to go too long today.
There's going to be some wet stuff later.
Better get it done at 9.
Castro to right field. That's his first hit. And the Cubs, first and third, nobody out. Wandy Rodriguez hitting too many bats in the early going.
And that was a good piece of hitting by Castro. I mean, he really committed to hitting the ball the other way. Didn't care if he made an out or not. He was just trying to move the runner to third base. Situational style hitting. But when you do that, occasionally you're going to get a base hit also. Just because you're moving the runner by hitting behind him doesn't mean you're giving yourself up trying to make an out. That's why you don't get a sacrifice for that, obviously. Because you can still get a base hit, as he just accomplished.
Justin Ruggiano last year with Miami. 222 in 128 games for the Marlins last season. Career high 18 home runs too.
Might be able to, depending on playing time, he might be able to improve that a little bit playing at Wrigley.
Well, you'd think.
Depending on the weather.
368 to the gaps in Wrigley Field.
It's all about the wind there.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know very well, you've told me the stories of when you pitch there, first thing you do when you walk
get on
out of
the bus,
hotel,
you look at the flags.
Yeah, you look at the window.
You don't know what kind of day you're going to have.
Yeah. You can tell looking out your hotel window. Then when you get outside, you realize which way the wind's going. They're going to go for 2 and give up the run. Double play. Ruggiano able to get Bonifacio home, and it's 3-0 Chicago. Bonifacio scored 2 of the 3.
That's a decision that you have to make. At some point, you don't want to do it, but Pirates and Wandy thinking, hey, there's still plenty of baseball to be played. I'll trade that third run to get the bases empty and 2 outs. I mean, he could have gone after Bonifacio, but then the result with Bonifacio getting in a rundown probably would have been 1 out, runners at second and third.
Right.
So gave up 1, trying to stay out of a big inning.
Bonifacio was holding until he saw Wandy was going to second base. And he figured he'd be able to score, which he did easily standing up. And Rizzo is trying to bunt his way on against the shift. Normally the cleanup hitter, you don't see that very much, but Rizzo trying to take his base here. With 2 strikes, he'll swing away. Ropes it to right. Snyder after it, and Snyder makes the running ground. A run on 2 hits, nobody left. 3-0 after 2.5.
On Root Sports is brought to you by Day Automotive. We're gonna make your day. Let's go Bucks.
Here's our Day Automotive, this day in baseball history. 1985, Major League Owners and the Players Association agreed to change the format of the League Championship Series from best of 5 to best of 7. April 3rd, 1985. Jordy Mercer takes a strike. First at bat for Jordy today. Then Wandy will hit next, and back to the top of the order. And Starling Marte. Cubs have built a 3-0 lead with single runs in the first, second, and third. One and one to Jordy. Mercer hitting .250 on the young season. Strike call. 1-2. Jordy had a hit in the 16th to lead off the inning. One of 3 hits in the bottom of the 16th last night. Well, actually, it was really this morning. Ground ball to Castro. 1 out.
Still waiting for the offense to get on track. First time through the lineup, just 1 base hit.
Jeff Branson, the hitting coach, was pretty happy with things and how they went in spring training. And there were days, certainly, especially that one game against the Blue Jays, when the Pirates put up 22 runs. But Jeff felt that things were going very well. And in that game, just referenced, Wandy Rodriguez had a home run in spring training.
One of about 6 windblown home runs.
Yeah, got it up in the air, and the wind did the rest. And he's got a base hit. The switch hitting Wandy Rodriguez, a single batting left-handed. The Pirates with a base runner. It's the second hit for the Bucks today.
There you go, boys. That's how you do it.
I thought you were going to say ban the DH.
No, I think we've accomplished our.
We usually do every time a pitcher gets hit. My people got the message.
Both hits been kind of the same so far. Stay back, line drive the other way.
Marte lined out to Junior Lake. Bottom of the first inning. Strike call. You mentioned some weather coming in later. It's already gone through Detroit, and the Tigers and Kansas City Royals postponed today. Late on that one, and it's 0-2. This is what the radar looks like. The yellow stuff is the heavier stuff. Pittsburgh right in the center of your screen.
Well, we still got a little while to go.
Yeah. But it is coming. Marte went, snap throw, and it's dropped by Rizzo.
Might have had him if he'd held on to that. That'd have been close. Yeah, he would have been out if he'd have caught the ball. The glove was on the leg before Wandy got back.
John Baker with the throw down. Well, Snyder 1 for 1. Two outs and a man on for the Bucks. Wandy Rodriguez, a 1-out single. Tuno. Snyder and Tabito expected to share duties in right field, and Earl saying there's no hard platoon. He's going to wait and see how things work out. Same at first base between Sanchez and Ishikawa.
See, if it is a hard platoon, as I was talking about earlier, that the right-hand hitters, they get no time. They're not going to get very many swings. It's going to be 80% the left-hand swinging guys.
Especially, well, this month with so many right-handers in the division and the schedule heavily weighted toward divisional opponents. Yeah, it's going to be tough for those right-handed hitters to get in. Case of Bucko fever for the kid with the hot dog hat. He'll be hearing about it from his teacher when he goes to school tomorrow because of that picture. My guess is his teacher really doesn't think he's sick. His either. Or hers. Three-two pitch to Travis Snyder. There goes Wandy, and foul tipped into the glove of Baker for strike 3. Second strikeout of the inning and of the game for Jason Hamels. We'll go to the fourth. 3-0 Cubs. we start the 4th inning. Pirate fans, we want to see how you root for the Pirates. Be our AT&T fan photo of the day. And you can also tweet us here at Buck's Booth. And still looking for some cheetah names.
There's a couple nice ones there that I really like a lot.
Grilled cheetah?
I like grilled cheetah. How about the Chester? You have the racing tie-in with Cheese Chester. You got the cheese tie-in.
Yeah.
It's clever. I like the Chester. Chester Cheetah.
Well, another way you can join us on Twitter, as I started to tell you, be the AT&T fan photo of the day. Show us the most unique ways you raise the Jolly Roger, the fun places you watch the games on Root Sports, and how you display your Pirate pride. Just submit a picture via Twitter using the hashtag BucksFanPhoto. We'll show them during our broadcast. Junior Lake will face Wandy Rodriguez to start the 4th. And swing and a miss. Notice the split screen photo that we showed you is now going around Twitter that Junior Lake had the wrong jersey on at the beginning of the game. Going all over the place. I'm sure he'll hear about it for a while. 0-2 to Lake. No balls, 2 strikes to Junior Lake. Lake reached on a fielder's choice in the first, but the final out was made. And he goes down on strikes. 1 down in the Cubs half of the 4th inning. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 12 years now. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Pirates.com for details. And one of our contributors during the course of the seasons, who is actually watching us right now on MLB.TV, Bob, sent me 3 contributions for a cheetah name. One is Andrew McScratchen. I like this one next. Sprint Hurdle.
Oh, man.
Sprint Hurdle. And Paulie Roger. And Sprint Hurdle, I think, was the best of the 3. Our man Dan Hyatt, who's out in Colorado, he'll be working with us in the booth there this year. A swing and a miss, and Olt goes down on strikes. He's 1 for 2 of the home run. But now Wandy Rodriguez with 2 punch outs here in the 4th. 3 in the game.
Curveball against the right-hand hitters. It's kind of an odd thing about Wandy is his curveball is more effective. His is against right-hand hitters than they are left-hand hitters. And most of the time, the breaking ball is a major weapon when you're throwing to the hitters who swing the same side that you throw from. Well, with Wandy, it's different. Almost like he uses it more of a kind of like how some lefties will use a changeup. The hitter's way out in front of it.
2 balls, no strikes to the second baseman, Darwin Barney. You see the spike curve or the knuckle curve. We saw more of those when A.J. Burnett and James McDonald were on the staff. They both threw those as well. They still do.
The rotation, the pitch itself, it's the same pitch. A curveball is a curveball. I mean, it really doesn't make any difference. It's just how you it's what you do with your index finger that really has nothing to do when you throw a curve. And guys will get it off the baseball in different fashions. And when you really curl it up high, that's when they call it a knuckle curve or a spike curve, but really it's the same pitch that anybody else with a curveball throws. There's no really difference to the pitch.
Pitch to John Baker, the catcher. Just with the ball after the walk to Barney.
I always thought that maybe hitters could pick that up, because you could see the knuckle sticking up very high. I think maybe I was giving hitters a little too much credit for it.
Well, start asking the hitters and see what they say.
Apparently they don't. Well, I don't have to ask them. I can watch the way they hit guys that throw good curveballs that have their knuckles up in the air. But if you have your knuckle up in the air, you would think maybe a hitter might be able to see that as opposed to your finger kind of just laying there at the side.
2-1 pitch. Baker looks at curveball for a strike.
But that curveball is just rolling off your middle finger, not your index finger. And all the index finger can do is slow the rotation. You want to get it out of the way. Looks like he's set a change-up grip when he takes the sign, and then change it when he goes into the glove. See how the finger, the knuckle stuck up in the air? Now, if you're looking kind of up behind his head as a hitter, you might be able to see that. Now, there's a four-seam fastball. See, both fingers are down on the baseball.
One of the other Pirates pitchers that you'll see throw that spike curve is Jeff Locke. Two-two to Baker. Throw to first base, and Barney's back. Barney did not start last night at second base. Emilio Bonifacio did. Bonifacio's played center field, second base, and shortstop in this series so far. Three and two, full count, so Barney will run. Rodriguez trying to get Baker out. He has struck out Lake and Olt, walked Barney, and Hamill, the pitcher, on deck. And a foul tip into the glove of Tony Sanchez. Baker strikes out, and Rodriguez with 3 strikeouts in the inning. Heading to the bottom of the fourth. Pirates down 3-0.
Pirates fans hanging out here on the North Shore. Well, it's Rick Renneria. He was a first-round draft pick of the Pirates back in 1980 and came up through the Pirates system and made his Major League debut with the team back in 1986. So it's fitting that as a big league manager, he makes his debut against the team that brought him up here in Pittsburgh. This morning he talked about how crazy it was, Tim and Bob, about how it all begins for him as a manager in this city. He said on Monday he did get sentimental on his walk to the ballpark, but he obviously tried to view it as a ball game and tried to kind of keep his focus that way, but he did add a couple things. But his time in Pittsburgh, he said, was very good. He's glad he got the opportunity to play here, and the Pirates gave him his first taste of big league baseball, and he said for that he is very thankful.
September 14th, 1986 was when Renteria made his big league debut with the Pirates against the Cubs. And former teammate of yours, Bob, and the minor leagues, and as well as here in Hawaii, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah, I played quite a bit with him when I first came over in Hawaii, and then of course I was here to see him play that September, and he was one of those guys that you can think of and think, well, not a surprise that he's a big league manager. There's certain players that during their playing time, the way they go about carrying themselves, the way they're thinking about the game, that someday they're gonna either be a coach or a manager. There's everybody else. When you're young in the minor league, you're really not thinking too much other tin what's happening right there. Rick, a guy, when he was hitting in the third, he had already thought about, well, if the game's close in the eighth, this is who I'm going to be probably hitting against. And not many guys really will think like that. The guys that do, that they're studying the game, and they're going to go on and at least make an attempt to manage in the minor leagues with the hope of getting to the big leagues. And he's such a great person too, that he's somebody you really root for. I hope that he has a ton of success in Chicago. Really a great story. Those are the kind of guys you really pull for.
Pedro swinging a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1. Cubs have left the third base side open for Pedro. Went that way last night for a hit. 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike. 2-2. You see the defense, Bob. And I know the Detroit Tigers have done this, and I think the Washington Nationals have also done this. They've named one of their coaches, stealing a term from football, a defensive coordinator. We've gotten to that point in baseball, where you're going to have guys who will take the analytics and convert them into positions guys will play on the field, and it's going to be real commonplace in baseball. It has been over the last couple of years, more so today than ever. And now we're seeing coaches with titles of defensive coordinator. Pedro smacks this one to left field. It's carrying a little bit, but not enough. Lake makes the catch. 2 men out. This will bring up Neil Walker. Pirates are getting some balls up in the air. The wind not really helping.
You're going to have to go the short way down that right field line. You want a home run, unless you just absolutely mash one. It's it's PNC Park in April. It's just not going to give up any cheap home runs. You got to hit them. Got to hit them pretty hard, and got to hit them in the right spot. This has always been a little bit of a pitcher's ballpark in my mind, especially early in the season when it's cool.
Neil down the left side. Little slice into foul ground. Walker flying to center first time up. See how they're playing Neil. Third baseman in on the grass almost, but well off the line. With 2 outs, more of a conventional infield alignment for the Cubs. One pitch. Front off speed 85, 86.
Yeah, really pulled the string on him and did it in a way that really upset the timing. Neil pulled the trigger on his swing way early. It's tough to get Neil do that. And Neil is one of the guys that stays back, probably as good as anybody we have on the team. To make him get way out in front on a changeup, I think that's tells you got a pretty good off-speed pitch going.
This one's popped up, foul ground, and drifting toward the Pirate dugout is Olt. And the Pirates, for the second time in 3 innings, gone in order. Head of the 5th, 3-0 Chicago. Here, 3-0. 5 hits for the Cubs, 2 for the Pirates, and Hamill takes a rip at the first Wandy Rodriguez pitch for strike 1.
Hamill's first at bat, he really made Wandy work hard for a strikeout. Getting Wandy's pitch count up there a little bit.
Nothing in 2 to Hamill. And he goes down on strikes, so
didn't have to work hard this time.
Yeah, he did. 4 of the last 5 hitters have struck out. 1 down, back to the top of the order. Fireworks night coming up Saturday after the Pirates take on the Cardinals at 7:05. Zambelli fireworks shows are always great. Saturday is also an Eat Park Scratch and Win Saturday. Zambelli fireworks presented by First Energy Solutions. For tickets, go to pirates.com. There's Bonifacio.
Can we get him out?
So far, the answer has been not really. Twice the Pirates have made outs.
You don't know where
when he's been picked off of first base.
You don't know where he's going to hit it. You can't overload one side or another with the defensive players.
2-1. Hitting the low 200s in the first half of the season last year, and the upper 200s in the second half. Finished 243 last year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here comes the 2-2. And a ground ball to short, a bounding ball from Mercer, and they got Bonifacio out.
Wow, nice hand. He was able to use that curveball. Talking earlier about how well that curveball works against right-hand hitters. A little bit unusual. Right-hand hitters last year, before he got hurt, hitting just 172 against his curveball.
Maybe this is where the pendulum swings in this game now that they've gotten him out. Pirates offense needs to get going. Just 2 hits.
Yeah, you just need, 1 inning where you can put up a crooked number, and it's a new ball game.
Castro, slow roller to Walker. And an easy 1-2-3 inning for Wandy Rodriguez. Now the Pirates hope to get the offense going in the bottom of the 5th.
Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture, proudly featuring solid wood American-made Amish furniture. For furniture that lasts, shop Levin. Let's go Bucks!
Travis Ishikawa takes ball 1. Travis is 0 for 1. He grounded back to the pitcher Hamill in the second inning. And Ishikawa lines it to Barney at second base for the out. 1 gone. Between innings, John Hirschbeck, you're looking at the crew chief, talking to Darwin Barney and the grounds crew folks. Talk to him.
There were 2 outs from an official game, so it's getting to be a little bit of an issue that we don't want to be down by 3 if they decide to stop the game for a while, because if they get called it, it's a loss. Got to go 5 innings, and then it doesn't matter after that. It's getting a little bit of a, I think, a little anxiousness to get something going on offense.
0-2 to Tony Sanchez. Flying to right in the second inning. Second time up for Tony. Andy Rodriguez gave up single runs in the first, second, and third, including a leadoff home run to Mike Olt in the second inning. Olt's first major league home run. Two to Tony. You ever seen Tony Sanchez in a bad mood?
No, Tony's always got a smile on his face, very happy. Hey, young guy, he's in the big leagues opening day for the first time. There's nothing to be in a bad mood about.
Chopper down toward third. Olt cuts it off. 2 out. That'll bring up Jordy Mercer. Penguins hit the road for a 3-game road trip starting in Winnipeg. Catch all of the action from the MTS Center as the Pens take on the Jets tonight, starting at 7:30 on Root Sports. The Bucks and Pucks Day. The Bucks this afternoon, the Pucks tonight. You ever been to Winnipeg?
No, never been to Winnipeg.
Coldest city I've ever been to. Coldest. Never felt colder in my life than when I was in Winnipeg.
Coldest I ever been to was Wexford a couple months ago.
Really? Yeah, that's about Winnipeg in June.
Yeah. I'm not even sure where Winnipeg's at.
It's in the province of Manitoba, Midwest.
Didn't help me out there.
Well, if you're going to fly from
It's
here,
like the Plains
you want to go.
Is
You
that
want
like a plain state?
You want to change planes in Minneapolis.
It's like the Kansas of
yeah, I would say so.
Canada.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah. The old hockey arena, they had a big portrait of Queen Elizabeth in one end. I mean, this was huge, and it would hang from the rafters. And players often during morning skate from the visiting teams would test their marksmanship. 1-2 the count. Jordy Mercer ready to go. Here comes the pitch from Hamill. Jordy down the first base side. Loved by Rizzo. Toss to Hamill. Again, another short inning. The Pirates have not had more than 4 men come to the plate in a single inning. They've gone down in order 3 of the last 4. We get set to start inning number 6. 3 runs on 5 hits, no runs on 2 hits for Pittsburgh. He's enjoying this one over by the foul pole. Well, look, we asked you to Photoshop some of the cheetah. Look at that. The cheetah looking on as Andrew McCutchen makes a great catch.
Cheetah telling him he had plenty of room.
Old school. Look at all the cheetahs as Cheetah Mazeroski comes in to score.
Black and white cheetahs.
Game 7. That's a nice touch with the black and white.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Fairly good, actually. Those are pretty well-dressed cheetahs. Nicely done ties, jackets. Well, keep them coming. Here's Justin Ruggiano, right fielder. He takes low ball 1. Having a little fun with the cheetah picture that Mark Melanson provided from his trip to South Africa as a major league ambassador. And that'll be featured Friday on Inside Pirates Baseball. 2-0 pitch. Tapper toward Alvarez. Pedro rifles it to first. And there is 1 out as Ruggiano grounds out. And Melanson had a very interesting offseason. Anthony Rizzo, first baseman, RBI base hit in the first inning, and then he lined out to Snyder and Wright in the 3rd. And a home run last night, the 12th inning. Jose Talbot getting loose.
Got away a little bit. Rizzo got punked twice yesterday. Both times on that thigh. It'll be a little sore, you would think, this morning when he got up.
The first time he got hit by Charlie Morton, he took a little exception to it. Morton had one get away from him after starting Marte was hit in the prior inning. Ripped right down to Ishikawa. Handles the 1-hop rocket well, steps on the bag. And there are 2 gone for the Cubs in the 6th.
Ball hit right on the nose. Belt high, 1 hopper. Plenty of time. Take it yourself when you're hit like that.
More boat traffic today and a fairly nice day so far. A little chilly, but Blake fouls it on the bunt attempt. We do know there is weather on the way. And Kansas City in Detroit today already postponed. The lights have been on here at PNC Park since the start of the game. It began at 12:35. Thereabouts.
The clouds don't seem to be thickening, getting thicker. I thought we'd see that as this game went along. It doesn't really appear to be that much difference than what it was like 2-3 innings ago. But as you mentioned, the umpires did get a visit. All about the weather, so it's got to be getting closer.
Two outs, top of the 6th. Cubs 3-0 lead. Ground ball to short. Jordy throws him out. 3 up and 3 down for the 2nd straight inning, and Wandy Rodriguez has now retired 7 straight Cubs. 3-0 Cubs. At the bottom of the 6th inning, and it is time for the Pirates to start getting some hits. So Jose Tabata, the pinch hit for Wandy Rodriguez. So Wandy finishes up with 93 pitches. Goes 6 full. He's on the hook right now. Pirates like to get him off the hook. Tabata, swing and a miss. Wandy coming off, getting his congratulations.
About half our hits.
I know, I was going to say. There's your offense right there. Half the Pirates' offense is being taken out. Jose fouls this one back. Ball and 2 strikes to Tabata. He scored the game-winning run in the bottom of the 16th, driven in by Tony Sanchez. One, 2. And he strikes out. Tabata pinch hitting, gone on strikes. Back to the top of the order is Starling Marte. Well, Hamill, impressive in his Cubs debut. He signed a 1-year, $6 million deal with Chicago in the offseason. Was with Baltimore last year. Starling Marte will take ball 1. Thought about laying one down.
Yeah, we need some base runners. It's getting to the point of the ball game that you quit thinking about a 1 run. You think about doing something to get a big inning up there. Running out of outs. Down by 3. With the rain closing in.
Edinson Volquez, who is listed as the starter for Sunday opposite Adam Wainwright, in the bullpen warming up. And Hurdle telling us that earlier today, he told Greg Brown anyway, that Volquez would be available out of the bullpen. I mean, they will end up making a change for Sunday and the starter. Balls, 2 strikes to Marte. Pirates have had just 2 base runners, and neither one got past first base. There's the 2-2. Marte down on strikes. Thought he was tagged out, but he was tagged out maybe the second time by Baker. So 2 strikeouts here in the 6th for Jason Hamill. On this week's Inside Penguins Hockey, look back at Chris Kunit's career year, relive a classic fight between Francois Leroux and Tony Twist. Everybody likes a hockey fight. And see Dana Heinze's unique mask collection and more. Inside Penguins Hockey, presented by Heritage Valley Health System, tonight after Penn's postgame on Root Sports. Strike to Snyder. Having a great time at the game. 0-2 to Snyder. We told you Wandy Rodriguez had half the Pirates offense. Snyder has the other half.
Hamilton jumping out ahead of the hitters, and that way he gets the guys to start chasing him a little bit because they have to protect the strike zone. We saw, I think, a real good example of that when Tabata struck out. He had that kind of check swing when he elevated his fastball about letter high. You kind of see it again right there with that, check swing. You fall behind, now you have to try and start that bat at everything. You're getting that 2-strike approach. You can be a little susceptible then. Can't be as patient trying to get your pitch, obviously. You got to start swinging at that guy's pitches.
Center field, Bonifacio. Pirates gone in order again. Third straight inning. Pirates have been retired. 1, 2, 3.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
3-0 Cubs heading to the top of the 7th inning. A matinee Thursday afternoon at PNC Park. Pirates offense has been flat today, to say the least. AT&T fan photo. A surfboard with a Raise the Jolly Roger rag on it. That's from the show.
I wonder where that was taken.
Well, somewhere where there's a beach and palm trees, that's for sure.
Yeah, kind of a high beach. See how it goes up real fast over toward the palm trees? Not really low-lying like a Florida beach.
Jose Tabata is in the game in right field, and Edinson Volquez takes over on the hill. Volquez's first appearance as a Pittsburgh Pirate. He was expecting to start on Sunday.
There's no reason why he couldn't pitch an inning today and still make that start.
This will be the 6th time in Edinson Volquez's career he has come out of the bullpen. Volquez will face Mike Olt. And Olt a little late on that one. 92 miles an hour. First pitch Volquez throws as a Pirate. Olt hit a home run in the 2nd inning. Struck out swinging in the 4th. And he is behind 0-2.
Good location with that fastball, a little tail. Just see it moving up and in.
Check swing roller foul down the stairs of the Cub dugout on the first base side. 0-2 to Mike Olt. Edinson Volquez, 30 years of age, from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Fires this one back. Last year spent time with the Padres and Dodgers. With the Padres the entire 2012 season. Ended up 9-10 with San Diego, 0-2 with Los Angeles. 1-2 to Olt. 1-2 pitch coming. This one in the air to shallow right field. On the run is Tabata, and he'll make the catch. Our Nissan road ahead. Tomorrow the Pirates welcome the defending National League champion Cardinals to start a 3-game series. First of 13 games the Pirates have scheduled against the Reds and Cards in their first 26 of the season. The Bucs head out on the road for their first trip of the season to Chicago, Milwaukee, and Cincinnati. And as far as the pitching goes for the Buccos, Garrett Cole Friday. Francisco Liriano will make his second start Saturday, and Edinson Volquez, who's pitching right now, scheduled to start Sunday afternoon.
An important month of April, obviously, with all those games in your own division. Real chance to set yourself up, set a tone, set yourself up in the standings early. Going up against the teams you have to beat.
I'm looking forward to seeing Garrett Cole start tomorrow night opposite Shelby Miller. Frank will get another start. Great start on opening day for him. 10 strikeouts. Just one of 4 Pirates ever to have 10 strikeouts or more on opening day, and one of 3 left-handers all time. Bob Veal and John Candelaria, the other 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Clint Hurdle's team, one of only 3 in Major League history to have starters in back-to-back seasons on opening day get 10 strikeouts or better. Barney lines this one to center field. That's going to bounce in front of McCutchen for a base hit. Washington Senators way back when had Big Train Walter Johnson go back-to-back opening days. And then Randy Johnson did it with Seattle, back-to-back opening days with 10 strikeouts or more. Grimm, the right-hander, James Russell, the left-hander, getting loose for Chicago. There's John Baker, the catcher. One out and one on for the Cubs. They lead it 3-0 in the 7th. Strike called. Volquez last year with San Diego led the league in runs allowed. They allowed 100 runs in 27 starts. His ERA with the Padres was just a little bit over 6. 2008 with Cincinnati, his best year as a starter, 17-6. Made 32 starts, 1 relief appearance, finished just shy of 200 innings pitched that year. Oh, 0-2 to Baker.
Yeah, he and Cueto looked like they were going to be 2 top of the rotation guys that were going to be there for a long time. It worked out for Cueto, but Volquez got hurt, got traded. Remember seeing him pitch in Sarasota. Spring training that year. He had absolute fantastic arm. Just explosive stuff.
He's been involved in some deals too. The Reds got him from Texas in 07.
And for Hamilton.
Yeah, Josh Hamilton and another pitcher, Danny Herrera. And then in 2011, San Diego and Cincinnati worked out a deal, and Matt Latos went the other way from the Padres to the Reds. Yonder Alonso, Yosmani Grandal, and Brad Boxberger also involved in that deal. San Diego in August of last year released Volquez and then was signed as a free agent on the 28th of August by the Dodgers. Strike 3 called. Baker down on strikes.
Backdoor that breaking ball. Baker gave up on it. Thought it was going to stay outside. Here it comes. By the time you realize that it is going to catch the strike zone, it's too late to do anything with the bat. You just take your medicine and walk back.
Pitcher Jason Hamill. Ground ball toward the middle. Mercer loves it. Fires on the first. Hamill is gone. Nothing across. One hit. Stretch time here in Pittsburgh. We'll keep you here at PNC Park. It's a matinee day. Let's take a look at the sights and hear the sounds of the 7th inning stretch. Cubs with a 3-0 lead after 6.5.
Fans, stretch. We invite you now to stand, follow the bouncing Eaton Park Smiley Cookie, and join everyone watching at home on Root Sports as we sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
The season tomorrow as the Bucks host the Cardinals at 7:05. First 25,000 fans take home a Raise the Jolly Roger t-shirt thanks to Allegheny Health Network. For tickets and to see all of this year's t-shirt designs, go to pirates.com/free shirt Friday. Andrew McCutchen can dance. Right now he needs to get something sparked for the Pirate offense that has only managed 2 hits to this point in the game. Bottom of the 7th. Jason Hamill, the starter, still on. And Kutch 0 for 2. Strike called to McCutchen. Early season average at 111. Foul tip into the glove of Baker for strike 2.
The next pitch will be number 90 for Hamill. At least he's getting to the point to where they'll be looking at his pitch count, especially first time out this year.
Not a good at bat for McCutchen.
Again, a chase at a pitch off the strike zone by a Pirate hitter. They're falling behind in the count, and they have no choice. They have to play defense and start the bat. You know, obviously, if you're even in a count or it's a hitter's count, you're not even taking the bat off your shoulder on a ball like that. But it's all about getting ahead, getting the hitters kind of on their back foot, so to speak.
Pedro's 0 for 2. The only hits today by the Pirates: Travis Snyder in the first inning and Wandy Rodriguez in the third, both singles. Strike called, 1-1. Time is called. Hamill took too much time for Pedro's liking. Pedro asked James Hoy, home plate umpire, for timeout. Got it. Cubs have shifted for Pedro as they have every at bat. Renteria has the third baseman Mike Olt out in short right field with Darwin Barney staying at second base. And Alvarez to left field right at Junior Lake. Teaming out for the Pirates in the 7th.
Yeah, nobody's throwing in the Pirate bullpen. It looks like Volquez is going to go another inning, which makes me kind of wonder a little bit about Sunday. If he pitches 2 innings, I wonder if they have something else in mind for Sunday.
Let's just say he keeps going and he's unavailable now for Sunday. Then what? Walker without a hit today. He's 0 for 2. I'm sure they've thought the options through and have a plan, which will more than likely be shared with us after the game today. And it was 2-0 to Walker. And Neal up in the air down the left field side. Lake on the run. And Lake not going to get it. Well, nice job. Good catch, kid. He wasn't wearing a Walkman, was he?
That was a heck of a play.
They had a play like that at Wrigley Field a few years ago. Except it was a lot later in the season. Two-one pitch. Runs outside. Moises Alou was the left fielder, if I remember right, in the Bartman play. High, and Pirates have their third base runner. Double barrel action continues in the Cub pen. That's going to be it for Hamill. Rick Renteria coming to get him with the left-hander Ishikawa due up. James Russell coming in. Clint Hurdle, if he wants to, could counter with Gabby Sanchez here. Bring the right-hander up, face the lefty. Pitching change timeout at PNC Park. Bottom of the 7th. Cubs up 3-0. Talk about players, but in this case, veteran umpire Tim McClellan will sit out the entire season following back surgery. Says possibly a return in 2015. Tim McClellan does not have the mustache anymore. He's got some back surgery. It's going to keep him out of the season. John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, aware of what's happening. Some sprinkles now as the rain starting to find PNC Park. Home plate umpire James Hoy takes note of Pirates soon-to-be pinch hitter Gabby Sanchez. But if the wet stuff has found the city of Pittsburgh, downtown and the North Shore. Time to cover up a little.
Well, speaking of McClellan, we need him behind the plate. He'd play through some rain.
Yeah, it didn't usually bother him. James Russell out there to pitch.
We might have to play through a little bit of rain to win this one. It's probably going to be a pretty steady drizzle, at least for quite a while now. Sloppy conditions the rest of this game.
2 out, a man on. Gabby at the plate facing James Russell. 218th appearance since 2011. That's the most games appeared in by a left-handed pitcher in that time period. Gabby takes a strike. .188 is a pinch hitter career. Gabby does do well against lefties. No. 1 ball, 1 strike. Russell relieved Edwin Jackson last night with 2/3 of an inning, got a strikeout. He also appeared in Game 1 opening day with 2/3 of an inning with a strikeout. Identical lines in his first 2 outings. And Gabby rips one down the line, a fair ball. Walker around second. He'll head for third, and he will stop there. And Gabby Sanchez, a pinch hit double. That'll bring the tying run to the plate.
That'll maybe get Gabby a little more playing time at first base. He comes up at a big moment. Whacks a double down the line. And a hook and stayed right there. Super mode. Allegheny helped them. Rick says shot.
And now Rick Renteria is going to come out and get Russell. If Russell didn't get the job done, he'll go to Justin Grimm, the right-hander, to face the righty Tony Sanchez. So another pitching change. We'll take a break. We'll come back. The Bucks are threatening here in the 7th. Kids Day this Sunday as the Bucks battle the Cardinals at 1:35. All kids 14 and younger take home a Pedro Alvarez Louisville Slugger plastic bat thanks to Highmark. Come early for the #1 Cochran Family Fun Zone on Federal Street. Stay after. Kids get to run the bases. Presented by Kennywood. For tickets, visit pirates.com. Well, with Bob Walk, Tim Never, Bobby Inchmakowski with us as well. A little rainy. That young lady, but she came dressed appropriately. Rain starting to come down late in this ball game. Now the Pirates bats may have come alive a little bit after Gabby Sanchez pinch hit double.
Let's get these 2 runs Walker. Get these 2 runs in off Grimm. Get a base hit here.
3rd straight appearance for Grimm.
It's going to get a little tougher as it continues to drizzle. The ground's going to get a little wet, a little muddier. Do it now.
Tony Sanchez looking to come up with a big hit again. Ball 1. Three 0 Cubs. Single runs in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd innings. 6 hits for Chicago. There's 3 for the Pirates. And it's 2-0. Pitched an inning of hitless and scoreless relief in last night's marathon. 2/3 of an inning, walking 1 and striking out 1 on opening day. Gabby Sanchez with the extra base hit for the Pirates, the first of the game for them. Two and 1 to Tony.
Right upstairs. They're going to try to go upstairs again.
Jason Hamill watching on as Sanchez fouls this one off.
That one not as high as the previous pitches.
2-2. Two-ball, 2-strike pitch from Grimm. And Sanchez up the middle, a base hit. Bucks on the board. Walker scores. Here comes Sanchez. Throw from Bonifacio goes through into the backstop. And down to second base goes Tony Sanchez. Tying run in scoring position. It's 3-2.
Yeah, they decided to change things up, trying to go by him upstairs. They went breaking ball, and Tony was ready for it. Wasn't a bad pitch either. It was down, but he just banged it right back through the middle. And then Grimm maybe upset it himself. I don't know what, but it wasn't back there backing up. So now the tying run is in scoring position. Grimm right now has to be running as hard as he can to get back toward the backstop. Now he's very late, so he's out of position. The ball goes back, and there goes Tony in a second. Just a base hit away now from tying this one up. Look at the location on that breaking ball. Not bad at all. Outside part of the plate, down.
Ball off the side of the mound. And Sanchez down to second on the throw, so now it's up to Jordy Mercer. And Mercer lifts this one in the air to right field. Giano under it. Will make the catch. Pirates strike for 2 in the 7th. It's a 1-run ball game in Pittsburgh. Cubs in front as we go to the 8th. Great shot of Gabby Sanchez running through the raindrops, scoring the Pirates' second run, courtesy of the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. 2 looks this year from the Allegheny Health Network Supermo cameras. Tony Sanchez now is the team leader in RBIs with 3. He's had 2 big hits in 2 games. And has brought the Pirates within a run at 3-2 as we go to the top half of the 8th inning. Single up the middle for Sanchez. Both Gabby Sanchez and Tony Sanchez with big hits in the Pirates' 7th. And Emilio Bonifacio 2 for 3. Pirates need to keep him off the bases. Sanchez remains in the ballgame for Ishikawa at first base. And Edinson Volquez on the hill.
We got to have quick innings now. You don't want to get anything drawn out. It's just, you don't know what the weather's going to be like, and you're right back in the ball game now, just a run away.
Volquez delivers strike 1. Now, Greg was the only one to meet with Clint today because Clint did not meet with the media due to the late hour of the finish of last night's game. So due to the pregame radio show, Greg got to talk to him. He told us at dinner that the plan, if Volquez pitched today, would perhaps be, as Sanchez will handle Bonifacio for the out, have Charlie Morton come back on short rest to pitch on Sunday opposite Adam Wainwright.
Well, that must be what they're going to do then.
Charlie went 6 innings last night. Garrett Cole going tomorrow night against Shelby Miller. The Cardinals come back to town. Francisco Liriano also pitch in that series. He will have the Saturday night game opposite Joe Kelly. Starlin Castro 1 for 3. Had a base hit in the 3rd inning. Last time up in the 5th, he grounded out to Neil Walker. Charlie took a ball off of his glove hand thumb, his left thumb. Last pitch he threw in the game last night in the 6th. That ended up having some x-rays. Everything's okay. Strike 2-1. Rain starting to pick up a bit. Where this game is, they'll do their best to complete this ball game. 2 other games going on in the National League right now. One in the American League. One has been postponed in the American League. That's Kansas City, Detroit. Last night, Charlie Nate Scherholtz hit that ball right off of Charlie's glove, hit him on the thumb, shook him up just a bit, but he's going to be fine. Two pitch to Castro. Struck him out. And 2 gone is Edinson Volquez, pitching in relief for the first time since last August for Los Angeles when he pitched against his former team, the Padres, who released him a few days before that.
It looks like he's really doing a pretty good job with his control this afternoon. Not only with the fastball, in that case being able to run it upstairs on a 2-strike pitch, but the breaking balls, everything is looking pretty consistent control-wise. Something that didn't really show every time out down in Florida during spring training. But looks good right now.
1-0 to Ruggiano. Check swing, back to the screen, a strike. And the Hardy fans who are geared up in rain gear and any kind of cover they can find, chanting, "Let's go Bucks." 2-1 to Ruggiano. Trying to find a way to come back. Fans can wave their Jolly Rogers. Ball wide of 3rd, strike 2. Phillies dressed right. Bill Murillo. And again, the camera guys on our crew. And a long couple of days with 2 extra innings games. And now this one here this afternoon. A ground ball to short. And Mercer throws him out. And the Pirates head back to the bat rack. Trying to get Edinson a run or two. Head to the bottom of the 8th. 3-2 Chicago. With the lead in Game 3 of this 3-game series. On with Bob Walk, I'm Tim Neverett, and thanks to Gary for this Photoshop and the cheetah. This was when Bob and I went on our off-season safari together on the Serengeti Plain.
Yeah, we're all very close, obviously.
Yeah.
We've all got our arms on each other.
Even the cheetah. The
cheetah's got his hand on my leg.
Yeah. If you joined us late, you're wondering what that's all about. Started last night when we showed Mark Melancon and his picture with the cheetah from South Africa. It'll be featured on Inside Pirates Baseball this weekend. People started photoshopping some pictures of the cheetah.
The cheetah's everywhere now.
The cheetah is everywhere.
I like it.
As Tabata now 0-2. That's the original. That's not Photoshop, we think. That's a real cheetah. That's the real Mark Melancon. That's real South Africa. In the offseason, he was a Major League ambassador. Tabata down the right field line. That ball is going foul. Long ball wouldn't be a bad thing right now. Down by a run. Luis Valbuena comes in defensively at third base for Mike Olt. No 2 pitch. Outside 1-2. You're pretty brave to let a cheetah put his paw on your leg like that.
As you can see, I was in very good shape when we were down there.
Yeah, you can tell from your picture that was an older safari.
Put on a few pounds since our trip.
Top of a base hit. Pirates have the tying run aboard. Jose on with nobody out.
Getting that one. A lot of times they'll try to crowd Jose a little bit. That time a little breaking ball that was moving away from him ran right out to the head of the bat.
Top of the order now. Starling Marte is due. He's 0 for 3. Struck out twice. His last 2 at-bats and flying to left field back in the first inning. Valbuena playing in on the grass at third base for Marte. And Grimset the pitch to first. And top of the back.
A little bit of a scouting mission there with that throw to first base. Probably watching Marte's hand, see if he'd slide it up the bat. he bunting or not? Yes, he is.
Strike one. Tabata again, a very important base runner as he was last night. Proved to be the winning run when he scored from third. Bottom of the 16th inning. Marte had a big hit, 2 big hits late in the game. His hit in the 16th got Tabata over to third base. Jose playing in the mud. The 0-1 pitch, and Marte looking to bunt. Gets it down foul. Balls and 2 strikes to Marte. Back to first goes Tabata. Sitting near the dugout, that's the uniform. The weather the way it is.
That bounce just kind of took it off. A little bit of a spin. That first hit to the dirt is what set it on that trajectory to get out there in foul territory.
Oh, and 2. Trying to bunt with 2 strikes, and he strikes out. Well, not often to see a position player try to bunt with 2 strikes, but Marte did. See that more out of the pitchers than you do the position players.
Yeah, what hurt him was taking that first fastball strike. That would have been, and it was on the outside half of the plate. That would have been the perfect ball to bunt up that side. But now, by doing that, it gave him just 2 shots at it after that. Sometimes, it'll take all 3.
Yeah, Clint Hurdle talking to him. I don't think
he had the bunt sign.
No.
And that 0-2 pitch.
Josh Harrison will pinch hit. Pirates looking for a spark off the bench, and Harrison takes a strike. Harrison batting in the pitcher's spot. Volquez had entered. Tabata stayed in. Tabata in the 9 spot. Outside for a ball, 1-1.
This rain has really stayed very light to this point. If it doesn't get any heavier than this, we should be able to get all 9 innings in, although we're starting to see a few puddles on the dugouts.
Justin Grimm will throw to first. Tabata back. Jose Tabata representing the tying run. Pirates came back last night after going down 3-2 to the Cubs. They're trying to do it again this afternoon in the finale of this 3-game series. Outside corner, and it's 1-2.
Right on the edge. 95. That's a tough pitch to hit.
Josh chased one.
Very similar. 95. That one a couple inches further out.
So 2 straight strikeouts for Justin Grimm. Harrison goes down after Marte fouled off the bunt with 2 strikes. Tabata, the leadoff base hit, still at first base, and Andrew McCutchen is up. Kutch 0 for 3 today. He's flied out twice and struck out swinging.
Tabata could take a shot at a steal here now that there's 2 outs. Try and get himself in scoring position for Kutch.
And he'd love to come through here. A big hit and get Tabata home somehow. Outfield playing him deep. 2-0. Bonzo, the pitching coach, Rick Renteria, first-year manager of the Cubs. Bonzo back for his second season. And it's 3-0. Trying to be a little too fine with McCutchen. If he walks him, he'll push the tying run into scoring position for Alvarez.
And if he walks him, he puts the possible winning run on base.
Exactly. There's action in the bullpen for the Cubs, a right-hander.
Pedro certainly has the ability to get both of them home with one swing.
And McCutchen walks on 4 pitches.
That.
McCutchen will trot down to first base. Tabata over at second. So, yeah, the tying runs at second. Potential go-ahead or winning runs at first. And Renteria going to come out and make a change. He's got one lefty left. It is Wesley Wright, but he was not warming up. Brian Schlitter was. Schlitter came in, pitched an inning of hitless and scoreless relief, striking out 1 in last night's game. Another pitching change, timeout. It's going to be up to Pedro when we come back to rainy PNC Park. Allegheny River, PNC Park, bottom of the 8th inning. And the grounds crew again is going to check with one of the umpires. That's Bob Davidson there. He's the closest one to the grounds crew entrance, so probably giving him the update on what the radar is saying. Here's Brian Schlitter coming on for his second appearance of the season. And the right-hander will face Pedro Alvarez.
Could be one of those situations too that they're talking about. At what point do you want us to try and bring out some of that diamond dry stuff?
The grounds crew at the ready is called upon.
Starting to get a little sloppy. I see a little shiny spot out there, deep third, down the foul line. It's starting to have an effect on the infield dirt.
3-2 Cubs. 2 on, 2 out. Top of the tying run in scoring position. McCutchen at first. And Schlitter's pitch. Down the third base side foul. Nick Leva, third base coach, had to dance to get out of the way.
Single will tie the game up, and there's only one player on the left side of the infield. Leva getting out of the way of that.
Nick is quick as a cat, isn't he?
I'm wondering if Pedro maybe is trying to hit a ball to that side to try and tie this game up the way he swung that last pitch, knowing he's only got one guy over there to beat.
Oh, one is low.
Kind of has to, think about, well, if I can hit a ball out of here, we have the lead. But if I slap a single to left, at least the game's tied up. These are the things I'm sure he was thinking about as he was waiting for his at bat.
Little nubber, swinging bunt. He's hustling to first, and Schlitter throws it to Rizzo, who's able to hang on. And the Pirates leave 2 on in the 8th. We'll head to the 9th inning. Cubs still lead by a run.
Left is Stormy Pimentel, who last night picked up his first major league victory. His family down in the Dominican Republic watching the game. His father in particular, as late as the game went, and as great a job as Stormy did to pick up the win, obviously he was very excited. So he debated, should I call my father or not? I don't know if he's asleep and I don't want to wake him up. But he was so excited on the ride home, called his dad. Father said, hey, I was watching the rest of the game in bed on the laptop to see how everything finished. And his father was able to watch his first big league victory. Pimentel did get the game ball. I asked him what he did with it. He said, I have 2 baseballs that I have saved. One from the 2010 Futures game, and that one went up right next to it last night when I got home.
Yeah, good story, and I'm sure a thrill for his dad and his family to be able to see him pitch and earn his first big league win.
That's beginning to a nice little collection. I'm sure he'll be getting a lot of baseballs in his career.
Right-hander Brian Morris facing Anthony Rizzo in the top of the 9th inning.
Morris did not pitch yesterday and been in a game since opening day. Should be fresh.
A shift for Anthony Rizzo. See the left field line wide open, third base line open. Jordy Mercer alone on the left side of the infield. Pedro Alvarez playing up the middle. 1-0 pitch to Rizzo. Last time Rizzo in this configuration attempted to bunt down the third base side. His base hit came in the first inning. It drove in a run. Ground ball toward Walker. Diving, stopped by Neal. Throws him out.
There's going to be a point that hitters quit swinging the bat on shifts. There's a free base hit to be had if he squares around and bunts toward third. All he has to do is make sure that the pitcher doesn't get it. Nice play by Neal out there in the wet grass.
Rizzo taking it out of the helmet. Junior Lake, left fielder, he tries to bunt, bunts it foul.
The thing too is that once you do that a couple of times, they can't play that defense on you anymore. It gets around. Scouts are at all these games. Hey, this guy will bunt. You can't play the third baseman out at shortstop, or he'll start the inning off with a base hit. So then they're going to have to start playing the third baseman over in a normal position, knowing that you'll take that free hit if they give it to you. and then that's good for you for swinging the bat. Now you don't have you don't have a shortstop out there for sure. You could get that base hit toward left field like Rizzo did earlier because there was a runner at second and they played without anybody in the shortstop position.
1-1 pitch. And the Lake, a little chopper to third, charging his Alvarez, barehanded on the wet grass. He throws it away. And Lake heading for second, and the Pirates have him hung up. Walker throws to Mercer. Mercer to Gabby, and Gabby's going to track him down.
Really smart play by Walker. Lake knew he had made a mistake, so he was going to try and get back to first when Walker threw the ball to second. And Walker was able to read that, gave a little bit of a fake pump, maybe, whatever, and Lake came to a stop. And then Walker had him in the rundown.
This is going to be scored a base hit for Lake. And then 4 to 6 to 3 on the putout on the rundown.
If Walker would have just turned and fired towards second, Lake had a shot at getting back. It ends up play by Neal.
Luis Valbuena at the plate. Yeah, Neal, smart player. 218 for Valbuena last season. Valbuena figured heavily in the offense last night. What offense there was for the Cubs. They scored 3 runs. He walked twice in the extra innings and had 3 hits as well. Struck out 3 times. So sort of a mixed bag, but reached base 5 times. This time he hits it in the air to left field. Drifting over to the line is Marte. Last raps for the Bucks. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. They'll face Pedro Strop down a run. Need a run at least. 2 would win it. Go to the bottom of the 9th inning. A rainy afternoon. Neil Walker will lead off on Monday, opening day. His first walk-off hit of any kind. He hit it off Carlos Villanueva. Got a 3-2 changeup. Put it over the Clemente wall. Pirates would win 1-0 in 10 innings. Pittsburgh Kid trying to make something happen here in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, if they win their 3rd, it'll have to be a walk-off.
Ryan Kalish in the game in left field, and Pedro Strop, former Oriole, now on the hill.
Trying to pick up this ball game, put it away for him. Going for the save. Not easy, really, pitching or hitting conditions when things, the footing gets a little iffy. It's got to be starting to become a little bit of an issue. The cleats, they just get all clogged up and they don't really work properly.
And Walker base hit.
Here it comes.
Didn't take long, and the Bucks have the tying run aboard in the 9th.
First pitch, Hunting looking for something that's up out over the plate, going to give it a run, and there it goes. Business.
He's trying to get Walker home. Now with Gabby Sanchez at the plate. Gabby is 1 for 1 with a double in the 7th inning. He also scored a run. Bucks got both of their runs in the 7th. Firm of Sanchez and Sanchez had back-to-back hits, producing 2 runs. Pitch to Gabby. Trying to bunt Neal over. Over the signs. Gabby receiving him. Neal Walker staring at him as well, so he knows what to expect. Balls and a strike to Gabby Sanchez. Gabby pops up the bunt. And the pitcher and catcher collide. Strop holds on.
Now Strop should be out, shouldn't he? Ran over the catcher.
Now that's next year's new rule.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Somebody got to tell him you can't bowl over a catcher anymore. Now I kind of thought perhaps that they would drop that on purpose because Gabby didn't run.
Wow. That's a collision. Baker's lucky that helmet didn't come down on his face. That would have caused more damage than maybe Strop originally did.
If they would have just let that ball bounce and thrown it to first base, they had the double play. I think Gabby a little upset at himself for popping it up and kind of turned into a spectator there for a second.
Move did not work out for Clint Hurdle. Gabby Sanchez popping up the bunt. Tony Sanchez at the plate. Up and in. Some chin music for Tony. Tony Sanchez represents the winning run. He's at the plate. And the pitch. Fouled off. Last night, he sat and watched the entire game until he was called upon in the bottom of the 16th inning. Shot one through a drawn-in infield to score Tabata for the game winner. First career walk-off. Back-to-back games with players in their first career walk-off hits. Sanchez trying to come through with a clutch at bat. 2 strikes to Tony. Tony trying to keep that bat dry. You see the caking of the clay in the cleats as the rain's been falling for quite some time now. Broke the bat right back to him. The Cubs are going to win. The Chicago Cubs have salvaged the game. The Pirates win the series. But disappointing today, certainly for the Pirates offense. They were right in this game.
Yeah, the Pirates are going to have to find their offense this coming series against St. Louis. Got to swing the bats a little bit better.
Third straight one-run game, and the Pirates on the wrong end of the score this time. And the double play ends the ball game. As Strop ends up saving this one. Sanchez is
getting jammed right there.
His bat just exploded. So disappointing for the Pirates as they drop the third game here. Now it's getting set to host the St. Louis Cardinals tomorrow night. So the final score here, 3-2. Cubs get the victory in game 3. Now let's send you over to Rob King.
Tim and Bob, thanks very much. You haven't heard the last of Bob Walker. Will be coming down from the broad.